twin spent years taking credit of my ideas and work because we think alike. So I exposed her publicly. I'm a twin. On paper, we're identical, but in real life, not even close. Elise is the outgoing one, the pretty one. The one person always liked me more for reasons I could never quite understand. Teachers, family, friends, they always assumed we were the same. If Elise is smart, I must be too. If I got a good grade, Elise must have helped. If Elise succeeded, I would be so proud of her. But the truth is, she's been riding on my back for years. It started small, little things, ideas she borrowed, compliments she accepted for things I did. I let it go. I told myself it didn't matter. But the older we got, the bolder she became. Junior year of college, we were paired for a political science presentation. I did everything. The research, the outline, the slides, the speech. Elise offered to handle the intro. She never did. Then the night before the presentation, I got food poisoning. I emailed our professor and asked Elise to present for us both. She said, "Of course, don't worry. I'll make sure they know we both worked on it." She didn't. She stood in front of the class and said things like, "When I was researching this, and I really wanted to explore," like she'd put in any of the effort. She mentioned me once, barely. My sister helped with some of the research. She got praised, applauded. Our professor told her, "You're one of the most insightful students I've seen this year." I sat in my dorm, too sick to stand, listening to Zoom, and feeling like I was going to throw up from more than just the food poisoning. That summer, we both landed internships at the same nonprofit. I was working in the development office, drafting grant proposals. Elise was in outreach. She kept wandering over to my desk, reading over my shoulder, asking what I was working on. I thought she was just being nosy. But at the end of summer meeting, her manager praised her for suggesting a new funding idea. My idea, word for word. At the start of senior year, our school opened applications for a prestigious academic award. I spent a week writing my essay. It was raw and personal and probably the best thing I've ever written. Elise asked to borrow my laptop for a quiz because hers was dead. I let her. I wasn't thinking. A week later, her face was on the school's Instagram page. Elise Harper, finalist for the Rising Scholar Award. The pull quote? A sentence lifted directly from my essay. I confronted her. She smiled and said, "We think alike. That's why we're twins." Then came the final straw, our senior thesis. Our senior thesis was supposed to be the biggest project of our degree. I picked a topic that meant something to me. Reparations in post-colonial Africa. I spent the summer researching, interviewing professors, and translating sources. I wrote day and night. I poured myself into that paper. Elise hadn't even picked a topic 3 weeks before the deadline. Then one night I caught her reading my draft. "This is good," she said. A few days later, the department announced the 3 students chosen for our senior colloquium, the event where the best theses are presented in front of faculty, students, and alumni. My name wasn't on the list. Hers was. Her thesis title, Reparations in Post-Colonial Africa, a comparative look at Lusophone and Francophone states. My stomach dropped. I pulled her paper from the department archive. It was mine. Rearranged? Yes. Reworded maybe. But my structure, my sources, even some of my exact phrasing, just polished to sound like her. I confronted her. She said, "I didn't steal it. You let me read it." I told her she crossed a line. She said, "You're just mad you didn't get picked." That night, I cried harder than I ever had in my life. I was so done. But then my friend Callie, who works in the department office, called me. She knew what Elise had done. She'd seen my early draft. She saw Elise's submission. She said, "I can't stop her from presenting, but I can get you the mic during Q&A. Colloquium night." Elise walked up to the stage like she owned it. She spoke with confidence, like she'd earned it. Then came the Q&A. Callie handed me the mic. I stood up. "Elise," I said, "your thesis brings up some specific field work from Africa. Some of those interviews aren't exactly easy to find. I'm curious, how did you come across that material?" Her face changed. She stuttered. "I cross-referenced, a few academic sources." I nodded slowly. "That's interesting, because those interviews aren't published. I know that because I conducted them. I have the originals, with signed release forms and a time-stamped draft that predates yours by over a month." A professor in the front row turned to another and whispered something. Another raised his hand and asked to see my draft. Elise stood there, red-faced and shaking. She muttered something about sharing ideas and being inspired. She was removed from the panel. Her thesis was pulled. She was told she could no longer use it for graduate school applications. 2 days later, I got an email. "Hi, Alara. We'd like you to present your thesis next week. We apologize for the oversight." I presented it. I did great. A visiting alum offered me a spot in his grad program. Elise hasn't spoken to me since. She told our mom I humiliated her. I told mom she humiliated herself. No one's stealing anything from me ever again. But then, just last night, I saw a new email pop up. Subject, "You think you've won, but a full story on channel link below."